Do the things you love doing and give away the rest.
Yes, exactly. If I really loved just bookkeeping, then maybe I would be, doing that. But I want to make sure that I'm still doing jobs that I like to do. Like, I don't want to hand over the things that I really enjoy.
Instead of you arguing with people, they can go argue with the system. And the system doesn't care.
All of our checklists are automated. So our teams, every day, they have a new checklist that goes up. They complete it. And you can roll your eyes all you want at that thing. And I don't even have to see it. Are you joking me? You're giving me 1 week's notice as well to replace you. Like, you're literally running my business. That's not enough time. So I decided that I would get her to record every single thing that she did, so that when I was going to hire my next coordinator, they could just sit there and watch it. So the system taught them instead of us teaching it.
Basics that actually drive the engine of the business.
Yeah.
I still don't know a salon in Sydney that if you book, you pay a deposit for your appointment.
30% we take, which lowered our cancellation no-shows drastically. You want to make sure that the clients can afford to pay for their appointments as well. Kind of weeds out people that aren't serious and wasting time.
We reach directly to our target market. So we run 2 breakfasts a year. Where we invite 15 CEOs plus our clients to attend, and we're looking to get 4 clients out of that.
Right.
But they get a handwritten invitation.
Right.
Posted to them in the mail. And most of them come with, and we ask, why did you come? Because I got something handwritten.
Yeah.
Now, we've experimented a lot with digital marketing. It is, look, honestly, we've spent tens of thousands of dollars on it. 0. So we're still, we're not totally it's never going to work. But most of our clients, people who buy us, are businesses, men who are between age 40 and 55. They're married or they have a long-term relationship and they've got children. We know everything about these guys.
Okay.
We also know that most of them are owner-operators, or they have, they end up as CEOs. Of mid-sized businesses. And we know that there's only maximum 15,000 of those in Australia. And we only market inside of Australia. Now, I know people tell me the Americans would love us.
But would you love the Americans?
I love Americans. I think they're fabulous, right? I love them. Are you American?
No, I'm Canadian.
I thought you were Canadian. I can't tell the difference.
I can hardly tell.
Pardon?
I can't even tell myself, depending on where you're from.
Yeah, well, it depends. So what part of Canada are you from?
So I'm originally from Alberta. My parents moved there from Vancouver Island when I was, before I was born. And then when I turned 20, I moved back to Vancouver Island.
Nice.
So I'm originally from Alberta, but my family's all from BC. So
how did you end up here?
I usually have a breakup and then I move as far as I can. That's usually how it works.
I usually I'm going to go other end of the world.
Yeah, this one was I need to get as far away as possible.
Perth's the furthest from anything.
It was literally the furthest that I could possibly be. So I was living outside of Vancouver. I was with a guy then, and then when we broke up, I decided that I was going to go with my. Basically, my girlfriend was about to go to Australia, and I said, "Yeah, I'll come and join you in 3 months." And we were out that night. We had a few drinks, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to come with you. And she was. We went to Flight Center earlier that day, and I was trying to tell the guy, "Don't let her go yet." I didn't even realize that you could buy a flight that fast. I thought you'd have to wait a couple months because I'd never flown overseas anywhere. So anyways, later that night, we were like, can we get another flight? I called my mom. I asked her for $2,000 and told her that I was going to Australia. And she just hung up on me. Was like, absolutely not hung up on me. And I had like a paper mache piggy bank that I had saved tips in from hairdressing. And I think I had about $2,500 cash and about $2,000 available on my credit card. And I didn't have a passport. I didn't have a visa, but we booked the flights. And I left in 9 days. So 9 days later, I packed up my whole house, put it in storage, and
Aren't you amazing?
yeah, I left, and yeah, that's basically it. And then I
So
came
how
with
old
her.
were you when that happened?
I was 23.
Right.
Yeah.
Good for
So
you.
yeah, it was a pretty.
That's courageous.
Yeah, I just figured if I wasn't going to do it then, that I wasn't actually going to do it. Like I knew myself well enough that I was like, if my friend leaves. And I was about to move out of the place that I was in anyways, get my own new place. And I was where I was living there because I'd moved there because the guy lives there. Mm-hmm. And then once we broke up, I really hated where we lived. So I was like, why would I stay here? Mm-hmm. You know, I like my job, but there's nothing else that I like here. So yeah, I just thought, look, I'll just go. And then I met my now husband, she came over here because a guy that she was dating was here. And then the guy she was dating was with his best friends. They were both Canadian. And before I left, I said, don't let me hook up with that guy because it'll be really weird if the four of us hang out, right? So that lasted like 4 days or something. And yeah, and literally the next week, she's like, I thought you weren't going to hook up with that guy. And I was like, oh, it's just a summer fling. And yeah, they were a terrible couple, my girlfriend and the guy she was with. And my now husband, it was his best friend at the time. They'd been friends for like, I think he was 28 then. So they'd been best friends for like literally 28 years. And so we hung out all the time because they were just, toxic couple that were always fighting in front of you and stuff. And we didn't know that until we were all out here because they were dating, but we'd not ever really like seen them together or anything. Anyways, long story short, we ended up kind of with each other because we were all alone over here and thought like,
so he's a Canadian?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And so it was fun because we got to explore like Perth together and complained about the things that we didn't like about Australia together, because it is a big adjustment. Like,
it's huge.
Even things like back then, like we had to really organize when we were even going to get food because we were living in Scarborough and everything closed. There was no late night trading except for Thursdays. And I worked Thursday nights because I was a hairdresser.
It's still backwards in Perth.
Yes, but at least things are open till like you can go to the grocery store till 9.
Yeah.
Whereas back then you could only go on a Thursday night. And every Sunday we would, because our Saturday nights were big, we were drinking boxes of goon, whatever. Love the Coolaba. And we would wake up hungover, walk to the grocery store, walk our shopping trolley back to our house, because apparently that's what people do in Scarborough. And every week they were out of like milk and bread. And I was just like, who the fuck is doing the inventory here? You're out of the same things every Sunday. Like, wouldn't you just order more?
Yeah.
So I just like little things like that I was like, yeah, it was hard. It was a hard adjustment coming from somewhere where you can go to Walmart 24/7. Nothing ever closes, to coming somewhere. But it was good because you really learned to slow down a bit in that sense of like Sundays are days off.
Yeah.
Whereas there it didn't matter if it was Sunday. People worked all the time,
So you've been here about 15 years now.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. It was 2008. So I was 23. So 17, coming up to 18 years next month. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I came to Australia when I was 16 on my own.
Oh, wow. 16 on your own.
A whole nother story.
Holy. From where?
From South Africa.
Wow.
So.
That's young.
Wow. Like, you're a courageous woman.
Well, thanks.
It takes courage. Most people wouldn't do what you did. Like, you kind of know yourself. You said, if I don't do this now, I won't do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that whole saying about let's not live a life of regrets.
Yeah.
The things I could have, should have, would have done.
Yeah.
So you just do crazy things. Off I go.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've done that a few times. And I think the first move I did was smaller. It was just the the next province over, a different city.
Let's just move country.
Yeah.
to the city the furthest away.
Yes. Yeah, I had no idea.
This is the most isolated city in the world.
Yeah. And I was so ignorant. Like, I remember we got off the plane in Hong Kong. We had a layover. And I was like, we're in China. And my girlfriend's like, no, we're in Hong Kong. Like, I just didn't even know, like, anything about anything. I could have been going anywhere. I was just excited. I was just happy to go. Yeah. I was just happy to leave that guy behind,
Isn't that funny, right? It's like, it's amazing. I had a breakup when I was 20, and I decided I'd go to Europe. And I went
to live.
I went for 2 years. Had the most fabulous time. But that's a whole nother story. So, yeah, it's interesting the choices that we make along the way. Mm-hmm. And, I have no regrets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, neither.
Yeah. Look, would I like something to have been better or different? Yeah. But it's just the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
And, so what? Now what? Let's start with the moment when you realised that you were absolutely tied by the hip to the salon if you couldn't create systems and processes. And what kind of leadership thinking brought you to that space? Like, yeah.
I think the biggest issue, like with most businesses, but in particular like service-based and hairdressing, is that we do have usually a higher turnover rate. And so things will be doing really well, everything's running really smoothly, and then somebody leaves, something happens, and all of a sudden you're having to sort of pick up those pieces. You might have I had gotten myself into a position where I was really off the floor. I wasn't doing much.
Weren't on the tools anymore.
No, and I was running the business, which is, it's funny because that's not what you think of when you open a salon. You don't open the salon of the job that you love because you want to get off the floor. You do it because you love working with the clients. You love you love the actual service that you're providing people. You love the culture of being in the salon. So I think that's a big realization to running a salon, is realizing that if I'm going to run the salon and run it really well, it's not going to be with me behind the chair doing the clients, because but who is going to be doing the other jobs that needs to be done? And so after having the salon for probably about 10 years, I had a couple team members leave. I remember it was, the year before, my dad had everything was going great. We had just moved into a new location. I had just expanded the salon. We went from a 100 square meter space to a 200 square meter space. And I think it was about 6 months after that, 6 or 8 months after, maybe it was a year. I can't remember when year it was. It was maybe a year after. My dad had a stroke that left him incapacitated. He can say one word. He's completely paralyzed. He can use one arm. And that was December, right before Christmas. And it was in the middle of COVID. So we weren't able to fly. I wasn't able to get there. I remember getting the phone call, and we were we were sitting down for breakfast, my husband and I. And then we had to go to a kids' concert and watch my daughter, my 2 kids, do their daycare concert. And everybody's there. And I'm on the phone, not sure if my dad's going to die or not. Right.
Yes.
And it was, it's all like, we talk about the distance being hard. And that's one of the things that you always fear. It's like the distance is like fine if something's planned and I can get over there. But like if something unplanned happens, like you are really up shit creek, because even to get a flight and by the time you can get somewhere, it's going to be like 48 hours at the least. Right. So anyways, that had happened. And then we went through Christmas. We weren't able to go back yet. And the next year, I didn't make it out there until June. We had to go back out there, and help my dad, who lost his dad was also in a home just recently before that because he had Alzheimer's, and my mom has really severe Parkinson's. So my dad's looking after my mom with Parkinson's. Yeah, so it's a mess, right? So everybody's like, it's like when people say like, how's your parents, and you're just like, everybody's terrible. Please stop asking me. Like they're not getting any better either. Yeah. So it was just this whole mess that we had to really go back and try to, redo this house. I had a 3.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. Me and my husband had to go back, fix up this house. And we were there for 3 months. And it almost split us up because it was...
That's huge pressure on a relationship.
Yeah, and we're living in a 1x2 rancher with one bedroom that we have to completely gut out while we're living in it, while I'm also taking had just had a trip to see my dad, and I'm spoon feeding my dad. So I'm not in a good headspace. My mom's really unwell because this has just taken her Parkinson's to it's just basically blasted it 10 years forward because of the trauma of that. So we go back and we come back in about 3 months' time. My team was epic back then. My manager was fantastic at just they were just able to give me the space to be there. And right before I left, as an entrepreneur does, I decided to launch an e-com brand as well.
Not?
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to have a moment to think about how hectic my life is. So let's just put something on there to make sure that I don't have any free time upstairs. Right. So, which is, I realized down the road that I do that, it's I couldn't possibly sit with the uncomfortable feelings. So let's just make sure that there's no time to have them. So we start an e-com brand. I launch it right before I go to Canada for 3 months. Yeah. And when we come back.
So this is the Biz Tool Boutique.
No, this is the e-com brand. It's called charlie.com.au. It's a hair accessory brand. So I still have it now. I'm in the midst of selling off half of it, which I'm really excited about. But so I launched this brand and I leave it with the coordinator to pack the orders, and we had it all set up, and it was basically automated. Somebody was packing the orders and everything. It ended up doing quite well. Anyway, so we come back. This is just before Christmas, in October. And we end up not back until middle of October. We go through Christmas, and 2 or 3, I guess I've been home for 3 months since I'd been away for 3 months. And I have my manager and my coordinator resign at the beginning of the next year, right? So...
Oh, a little bit of surprise.
Yeah, just a little bit of a surprise. But looking back, it was am I really surprised? I was gone for 3 months. I didn't have the systems in place that I do now. And I really checked out, mentally checked out. I didn't care. When you go through something super traumatic with your family, I really don't care about your small problems. I had no space left to care about, so-and-so wasn't cleaning the salon very well last week, or, so-and-so keeps forgetting to do this, or we're low on this product or whatever. I couldn't care less.
Tell someone who cares.
Yeah. So it's when you're dealing with, that kind of weight, it's very hard to have empathy. Anyway, so we end up losing these 2 team members, which I was super gutted about, because especially my manager, she'd been there with me for I think about 6 years, and I really, really loved her. I loved working with her. I didn't see it coming. I'm not really surprised now. It's just she'd been there for 6 years, time to move on, wanted to do her own thing and everything. But it did kind of throw me, because it threw me back in the ring of having to be, be on the floor. Yeah, the one again. And that was really hard to handle, and especially losing the coordinator as well. So I've lost both coordinator positions. So we end up rehiring coordinator. Now, I hadn't really systemized it yet. It's just more you're going through what am I going to do with all these clients, and, all of that. And it's always really hard for the team, because the team, you have this kind of a shame when people quit, that you are you have shame that people have quit because you're worried about what they think of you and why they've left, right? So we end up hiring a coordinator, and the coordinator, we get her up to scratch at about 6 months in, and she's finally just like nailing it, doing great. And that day she's making plans with me for, future, in a few Saturdays time, we should all go out for dinner and blah, blah, blah. 2 hours later, she resigns at the end of the day, tells me that she's giving me 1 week's notice, and she's going up to work in the mines. And this girl is now running my salon. We'd just gotten her to that point. And I'm like, are you joking me? Like you're giving me 1 week's notice as well to replace you. Like, you're literally running my business, the front end of my business here. That's not enough time. But in the contract, because, for that position, that's all that it had in there, right? So
back, what did you learn from that?
Yeah. Longer. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you've been there for, 3 months, but some positions need longer, need a longer handover time. So before we left, I decided that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let you just leave and me be up shit creek, because I haven't even done that job as a coordinator for like so long. Like, I'm on the front, like checking out a client or having to do a gift voucher. I don't even know how to do it anymore because I don't do those jobs anymore. So, and it's not because I'm beneath those jobs. It's just I just don't do those jobs.
Well, I think it's part of that leadership journey. It's like when you hire someone, you don't need to remain great at doing that. Mm-hmm. You need to know that they're great at doing it and that they're doing it really well. Mm-hmm. And it's a big deal.
Yeah.
There are things in my business I haven't done in over a decade.
Yes.
Don't know how to do it.
Yes.
And I don't want to learn either.
And that's how I feel too. And but
they're better at it than me.
At this time, because there's only one person that does this role, and they were about to leave, and I don't do that anymore. So I decided that I would create a front desk system with procedures and get her to record every single thing that she did. So I made an entire document on, anything from checking somebody in to answering the phone to writing an email, how to respond to people, everything that I had basically made a giant list. I used Trello to do it, created a big template, and I told her, you're not leaving until that's done. And I didn't have her on the front desk for that week. I made her sit in my office for the entire week before I let her go, and record every single thing, kind of as some kind of consequence. But
if people could really get that, like, if you have great systems and processes, then you're no longer attached at the hip. Mm-hmm. You can actually move. So you then documented it all.
Yeah, so we documented it all so that when I was going to hire my next coordinator, that we made it into like an onboarding system that they would go through it, watch all the processes, do all of the things while they could just sit there and watch it, and nobody had to teach them anymore. So the system taught them instead of us teaching it. It also meant that if somebody wasn't there in the business that day, or somebody didn't know how to do something, that they could easily look it up, and it stopped me getting so many calls or phone calls or messages or how do you do this, how do you do that, and me going, well, I don't know either. And to the point where now I would use that system to try to do something. So like packing an order, like how do you even do that if for some reason you do need to do something in your business someday, so you can forget about it and it's there if you need it. It's kind of gave me the ability to be more comfortable with forgetting about the things that I needed to do.
The basics that actually drive the engine of the business.
Yeah.
So you are unusual. So big tick. You want to really get that most businesses don't do what you did. I know that. I have businesses that are $100 million and they don't have adequate systems and processes so that when people leave, they walk out with the intellectual property. Mm-hmm. So anyone listening to this today, take on board what Charlie just said. You simply get people to write down what they did. Mm-hmm. Write it down.
Yeah. And it's so easy now because you can use something like Loom, which will record you doing it.
Yes.
Even if someone says, I'm not comfortable on camera, it doesn't have to record them. It can just record what they're doing.
Yes.
And it'll transcribe everything for you.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to make it in like a step by step. But like, you know, with the access of that and AI now, like there's really no reason that you shouldn't have these systems in place now. It's really is that easy. We have to update ours now. I will say that we've got to redo them because we've just changed systems and we've got to redo them all again. But it's not like, and it's not a really massive hard task.
Yeah.
But I think what happens with in salon owners in particular, though, is we do just run out of time. We don't have enough time to do the things. We know that we want to do the systems, that we want to create things, but we don't really know like where to start or what that even looks like. Like, what is that like? We can't visualize what that looks like first. So we might go to something and go, oh, she said to use Trello. And I go to Trello and be like, I don't know what to use. I don't know how to do this. I hired a coach for a while. And I kept asking her, how do I create systems on Trello for my business? Like, what do I do? And she was showing me, she would show me what she does with her business, but it was so unrelated to mine that it wouldn't look the same like that. And so it was just like how she was moving across work, which is a totally different thing with what I do now. So with what we created was a template so that salons can get the understanding of like, okay, here's what I need to do and here's what I need to record and here's all the things that I should have set up so that it's easy to look at and visualize it and then just create your own system from it. So it's more like the template to go, here's the idea, here's what it should kind of look like, fill in the blanks and customize it to your own business.
Like if you think about that, you know, that's moving from you doing everything. And, you know, what you're talking about here is what broke first for you was having two major people leave and then creating that first system that says, we do this and we do it like this. And if you can do that, it makes all the difference. It means you can take a service business like yours and you can actually replicate it. Yeah?
That's right.
So say more about when you created that first system in real time, what did it do for the people?
I remember showing the new manager at the time, and she literally said to me that I think she was struggling with the fact that it felt a bit unorganized before that, right? It felt unorganized. It was a bit chaotic. And I remember showing her and her just going like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. Like, I'm really excited about this because I think for the team, it immediately felt like, okay, they have some kind of framework and support around like who should be doing what, who's responsible for different things, how can I keep the junior, like the apprentice team on track. So I think they just felt a little bit more supported, but it was hard at first to get a system in place and make people use it not go back to not using things. So it does take that like constantly making sure that that becomes the way now. And now we're a couple of years in that I don't even look at this system myself, right? So
you don't need to.
I don't need
They're
to.
doing it.
Yeah. And I see the emails come through every day of what's been done or what's been added and things like that. And I see it kind of come in and I don't have to do anything about it unless I need to add something to it or change something. So long term now, it's not about me having to say to people, make sure you use this, because it's just a part of the culture.
The way we do things around here.
Yeah, that's the way the business works. It's not.
So if we wind back a little bit and I could ask you this question, what's the first SOPs or standard operating processes that every owner should write to stabilise their operations?
I think a big thing would be your core values and who you are as a business so that people understand, I guess, that culture of the business. Like, I love the one that I have where I basically tell people about the values, about what we value as a brand, the expectations on that. I mean, I couldn't just pick like just one thing, because I feel like it's also important about like how I expect my team to show up mentally, how their presentation should look before they even touch anything. So I think, and then in return of that is like how they should be speaking with clients. So I think before we have things like how to check in a client or how to do cash out or how to do all those things, it's like, how do you treat the people around you and the clients and the team? Because if they don't know that and they don't have any expectation on that, then I just don't think you're not really giving them a good chance anyways, without being really clear on that.
So this is all about supporting people, which you've gone through yourself, of building a business that runs without you, right? So how did you decide what to keep on your plate versus delegate or delete?
So I think that's still, sometimes I would really like to get rid of some things that I feel like I haven't figured out how to delegate them quite yet. I would like to delegate pretty much everything that I have to do most of the time. You know, like I just always want to make myself redundant on anything. But there's obviously still things that I like to do. I guess when it comes to like making those decisions, it's just like, how much is that decision worth? And what is like the monetary value of me doing that or having my hand in it or not? For instance, when it comes to marketing. So now I pretty much am 90% of the time it has to do with marketing. So we also now like run ads and stuff for other salons. So I love digital marketing. So I'm kind of dabbling a little bit more into that. So when it comes to marketing, I think that to me is an important place for me to be the most. And so I won't hand over all of that, or I won't not make sure that I'm across what's being put out there, because that is my brand and my business. And so in that regards, I think I really want to be across that, because that is like how I'm going to grow my business, is from the marketing aspect.
If we're talking to other people that are considering a business, it could be any business, how do you decide? So you just made a good point there. You don't let go of the things that are about the brand. Why not?
Because that is sort of my zone of, what is it called? My zone of genius, or like, that is where I like to be. And that's where I feel good being. Like, that is where I feel like I can be creative, and I actually like to do that. You know, like if I really loved just, bookkeeping, and maybe I would be, doing that. But I want to be where I feel like I have the most value. And I feel like that's where it is in my business. And it makes me feel good to do it. I like doing it. I want to make sure that I'm still doing jobs that I like to do. Like, I don't want to hand over the things that I really enjoy.
So for those people listening, what I'm hearing is do the things you love doing and give away the rest.
Yes, exactly. Like, why would you keep the things that you don't like to do just because you're afraid? Like, I'm not afraid of anybody doing my job or doing the jobs. It's just that I want to do that job because I like that job. And I don't like these jobs, so I'm giving those away because they're not a good use of my time. Because if you don't like doing something, you're probably not going to do it as that well.
Well, also consider this. What you love doing, and what I'm hearing, is the stuff that generates and grows the business.
Right.
And probably what you don't like doing is making sure the books are balanced.
Yeah.
And they've got to be balanced.
Yes.
And so I often say, you know, I always know what cash at bank is at any point in time. I don't go and work out how it got there, other than I know what's happening or not happening that causes that number to be like that.
Yes. So I'm all about that too. So some of the things like we do, one of the other programs is like our pricing program. So I love reports. I love looking at the reporting, but I don't want to reconcile transactions. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like I can pay somebody else to reconcile transactions.
Well, in fact, I think one of the best lessons that I learned, which you probably could enjoy, is that I had a mentor once and he said, how much are you worth an hour, right? Every so much, whatever it is, a few $100s back in those days, it's 30 odd years ago. And he said, so if you pay anyone less than that, then get someone else to do it because that's what you're worth.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's a great way to look at your business. Right? So everything that you give away is not the core of what you're great at. And that's what you've done, which is you've done it. And I had to get a mentor to tell me that's what you do.
Yeah. I think there's some things, though, I will say, like, for instance, you know, now we've started the podcast. We've got the Salon Rebel. And right now, that thing isn't, I mean, it's a part of our brand, but it's also this like new creative zone that I don't really know where it's going to go. I don't really know how much I'm going to get back from that. But I do just like doing it. And so it's like trying to be okay with sometimes going, okay, maybe this thing will cost me more than I make from it, possibly. But do I really care? Because it's a good, fun experiment to do in my business, and I like doing it. Like, I wouldn't do that if I was like, I really hate doing it, and it's expensive. But if you like it, you know, you do have to kind of try different things.
Well, you get to have conversations with amazing people.
Totally. Like, and what's not to like about that?
Yeah, what's not, you know, and if you're an owner of a business, if you don't like talking to people, then I think you've got a problem.
Yes, for sure.
So let's talk more about, you know, like there are things that are activities inside of your business that you actually don't know what return you're getting on it. And you know that having it does what for you? Like, what's the what that it actually does? Like, we do this.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't monetize this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe one day, who knows?
Yeah.
Right? We do this because we want to increase our brand awareness of what we do and who we are. What are some of the things that, like that, you're doing a podcast, and what do you think it's going to do? I mean, it's fun too. I've met the most amazing people.
Yeah. I think it really, like, if you're talking about the podcast, it's like the podcast for us, like, humanizes us. If I want somebody to come and work with me, I would hope that if they did their research, they'd be able to listen to something, listen to see if like that's somebody that they think that they would get along with, right? Like it gives somebody like a much bigger scope on like who they are versus like a 1 minute reel where it's like it's either scripted or, you know, it's edited to the point where it's making yourself look good or whatever. I think that it just makes people look a lot more human. And so I think, podcasting that way it's been good. I think for our brands, like for the team, I think it's really important that my team sees that we're not a stagnant business and that we are doing different things, that we're innovative. Because you kind of get to a point in a hair salon too that you feel like with your staff almost that they've hit a ceiling. Because you're a hair salon. Like, what else are they going to do? You're the manager now. Like, I always say, too, that, like, my manager positions seem to be like, I'm like, well, let's put you in management position and then you can see how hard it is to manage people. And we will be saying goodbye probably in the next 2 or 3 years, you know, because it seems like it's not a long-lived position.
So here's something for you. Like if you're talking to people in those small service businesses, like everyone goes, I want to be the manager. Right?
Yeah.
And they have no idea what it takes.
Yeah.
And I loved what you just said. We'll be saying goodbye in the next 2 to 3 years because the thing that they love, they're not doing anymore.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They're managing people who are ratty and rude.
Yeah. Yes.
They're dealing with all the complaints.
Yeah.
Oh, they're out of stocks, the no.
Yeah.
Whatever else is going on.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
To the people that want to be in that position? Yeah, that you need to be doing it for the right reasons. Like, there's nothing fun about being the salon nag, you know?
I love that. The salon nag.
It's funny because I've got a manager on now and she is great. She's literally the best manager I've ever had on. And I hired her. She wasn't in my salon first. She came to me from somewhere else. And she has been fantastic. But one of the things we were just talking the other day that I was like, I feel like you need to loosen up a little bit. Like you take it, like she's doing such a fabulous job. And she's kind of like, you're the fun one when you come in and I'm like, it's okay to have a little bit of fun. Like, I'm like, you don't need to care more than I care, you know, because sometimes she takes it very seriously. And I'm like, I love how serious you are taking this. However, don't do it to the point that you're not enjoying your job. Yes. Like, I want you to have fun. And if I don't care about these things, then don't put that pressure on yourself. You know, it's not that big of a deal. I've been running this business for long enough to know that that thing doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And
so talk more about how you decide what matters and what doesn't matter.
I think it's just like the effect of that. Like, is this something that's going to ruin our reputation? Is this something that costs more than $100? Like, is this, it's like somebody wanting to go home early on a Saturday and it being like, well, she had the last 3 Saturdays off, so we shouldn't let her. And I'm like, are we just doing that because we're just like, we really need to be the boss right now because we just want to like lay down the law and tell them who's in charge? Like, I couldn't give a shit if they went home early. If it works out and it's okay for us, you know, like if they're going on like taking leave without pay or whatever. I think
like you've got some magic formula about thinking about what matters and what doesn't matter. How do you decide? Because that's really powerful. Like I had a woman when I first had my first child and she said to me, Jennifer, and she had 9 children, this woman, Valerie Williams. I'll never forget her. And she said, Jennifer, how I think about it is this. She said, if it won't matter in 30 years' time, it doesn't matter. And I go, okay. So it allowed me to relax a bit.
Yeah.
So maybe we can apply that to your thinking because I think it's really powerful thinking, Charlie.
I tell the girls at work when they have a really stressful client, my thing is always, or if I've had a stressful client, say somebody's come in and God forbid you cut their fringe way too short. You can't go back from that, right? It's a very awkward moment and you just like, you want to just put everything down and just walk out the back door because yes. And I always tell the girls, just remember that this day is going to end and this client is not going to matter to you in tomorrow or the next day. Like she's going to leave. Her fringe is going to grow back. It's going to be okay. And I think in like when you think about people that have actual problems, and I do think that when you go through other things in life and you have bad stuff happen, it really puts into perspective of like what is actually important, what's not. And I do think it's like, is this going to cause me to lose a team member? Is this going to cost me more than I can afford? Is it worth the time it would take for me to fix this problem rather than just give it back? Like the amount of times that I would give a refund over having somebody back in to be unhappy again, cause like pain for my team, have an awkward experience and change the vibe to the 3 other clients that's sitting around beside them. I'd rather just give their money back, you know? Yes. So I think it's like, what's the bigger picture and how is this really going to affect everybody? And can I afford to make this mistake or not?
How do you think you learned that? because you've got it. You can capture it in seconds. How do you give that to people? Like, does this matter?
I'm not really sure how I figured that out because my parents aren't very good communicators either.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I don't know. Then I think a big part of it is probably the fact, not good communicators, but they were both entrepreneurs. So problem solving is like first nature for us. It's like that's what being a business owner is, solving problems.
That's all you do.
Yeah, right? So I think just like that and growing up and, probably having to solve a lot of problems as somebody that, didn't have money and wanted to go out drinking with my mates every weekend and, needed to find a way to do that. So I was always selling something. So not all of it was legal, but, that's another story.
That's a whole other story. We'll have that story offline.
Yeah.
So, like you've talked about, like you've done and you're growing stuff around that whole tech part of running a salon. So, so your minimal viable tech stack that you go, I'll go down this road. Why? Because, like how do you know that that's worth that?
You mean?
Like what tech do you use because it's got a viable upside for the business, whether it's financial or whatever?
Right. So I think like the biggest thing in any salon is always going to be like our booking software.
Yeah.
So how making sure that is all like, the reporting is good, that I think for that end, it's making sure that clients, your customers can book in appointments and you can run it the way that you need it too. So I'm big on the way that we actually sell our services because we run, I was doing online booking and taking deposits before anybody else was. And people really thought that it was crazy that I was requesting this. For a while, I decided that I would put the voicemail on saying that if you wanted to make an appointment, you can do so at www. blah, blah, blah. And I said to my team, we're not answering the phone anymore. So I didn't answer the phone for like a year. And I just let it ring. I put it straight to the website because I didn't have a receptionist and I couldn't afford to get one yet.
It's expensive.
We were still, we didn't have the AI receptionist yet, and we didn't have, I didn't have the funds, or I didn't want to make the funds for somebody to answer the phone yet and check out clients. So now we have somebody because the team's a lot bigger. It just runs better to have somebody front of house. But we had basically decided that people are going to do that. And to do it the way that I wanted to do it, you needed to have a separate, you needed to have that booking software. Good. So I had, every other salon would have one booking software. I had two. And everybody thought I was crazy about it. I had it like that for like 10 years. So I had
Tell us about that.
So somebody would
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So I'd have like basically like two CRMs.
Yeah.
Right. So super painful for my coordinator, but I didn't care because it worked really, really well. And nothing else could combine the two things of what I needed. So what I needed was a booking software that could take like PayPal deposits. I could set the amount of deposit. People didn't have to give me their credit card details, but they just have to pay an amount to book an appointment. So that was on one, and it would book the appointments in there. And then because that one was on a cloud base, but the reporting wasn't very good, checking out and doing the POS was really bad. So I had a different one for our point of sale. So you'd have to, every morning, the girls would have to take the schedule of the clients and they'd have to put it onto the other point of sale one, which was like a half an hour thing that they had to do every morning, which they hated doing. So we had the two systems like that, and we finally just combined that after like every coordinator that I've ever had just like complaining about it. But it was just that I wasn't willing to bend on what I knew was making me money in my sleep.
So that piece, like I still don't know a salon in Sydney that if you book, you pay a deposit for your thing, for your appointment.
Yeah, 30% we take. And so some people are booking $500 appointments and needing to book 30%, which increased our lowered our cancellation and no-shows drastically because people aren't doing that, and just made sure that the clients that we were making time for and booking in were actually serious clients. So it was really good.
I have a standing appointment to have my hair cut every 4 weeks.
Yeah. And I mean, for some people like that, we don't take deposits on rebooked appointments, but first-time clients or people that don't want to rebook, want to book online.
No.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes
they just know me, and I walk. One time I arrived without my wallet.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, my God, and she just said, go away.
Yeah.
Oh, she wrote it down.
Yeah, when you know people, it's easy.
I've been going there for 5 years, cut my hair.
Yeah, when you have an influx of like new clients and stuff, and you don't know them, and when you start advertising on Google and on Meta, and you get all walks of life booking in, like you want to make sure that the clients can afford to pay for their appointments as well. Like, it kind of weeds out people that aren't serious and wasting time and, had a couple bottles of wine and decided that they'd book a full head of extensions the next day and didn't show up. Like, so.
And that, like if you think about it, that's a really strong entrepreneurial or business management strategy. It's like, no. If you want us, then you pay a deposit.
Exactly.
And it's amazing how that weeds out people.
I mean, it just increased like the demand, right? Because it annoyed a few people, but it made it, made us look even
more professional.
Yeah, because you had to pay first before you even showed up, right? So people would do it, they'd complain about it, and they'd do it, and then it became normal.
The way it does.
Yeah.
The way you do business with you.
Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for those people listening, like if you're in a service-based business, you want to do that, right? Because people often, what you do is sometimes invisible. Yeah. They haven't got anything yet. They're going to have their hair cut.
Yeah.
Or styled or whatever they're going to do.
Yeah. But I think it makes, you're taken more seriously than just willy-nilly.
Well, you're a serious businessman.
Yeah.
So what's the one simple automation that saves hours and hours every week?
The one simple. I would say our front desk system. So the template that we created, it's called Front Desk Manager. That's the one that has all of our checklists are automated. So our teams, like our junior teams, has like every day they have a new checklist that goes up. They complete it. Nobody's asking anybody whether they did something or not. It's very easy to find out like if they didn't, because they have to manually
fill it in.
Yeah. And so it just saves more of like the constantly like talking to people about the same stuff. Like after being a salon owner for a long time, you don't want to be being like, oh, why didn't you take the bins out? Why didn't you do this last night? Or what happened? Like you kind of pass that along to somebody else so that you don't have to be in that nagging position all the time.
Like one of the wonderful things that I learned about systems is that instead of you arguing with people, they can go argue with the system.
Yeah.
And the system doesn't care.
Right, exactly. It's like they can say, oh, I don't want to do that, but it's still on there and they still have to do it. So
have an argument with it.
Yeah.
See what it says to you.
Yeah. And you can roll your eyes all you want at that thing. And I don't even have to see it, which I think creates more happiness for me with my team. Like my team doesn't annoy me as much, because I don't have to deal with their little attitude things about little jobs anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing that. Yeah. Or, and I guess
the little things that matter.
Yeah. I guess my managers would probably argue that's because they have to deal with them.
Yeah.
But, it does, having somewhere where you can create some type of a system like that.
Yeah. So your managers, what do you do to actually train them? Hey, this is the system. Anyone that walks in this salon and works here, this is how we do it. You will be ticking boxes, and don't just tick boxes and pretend you've done it, because then you'll hear from me. Yep. You won't hear anything from me if it's actually done.
Yep.
How do they manage themselves inside of that?
I guess it's just pretty simple. Like it's like they just because they come on board and that is the way it's done. It's funny because I think no matter how many systems you have in place, you always think you don't have enough.
Yes.
You know, you always want more. And I said to Serena, my manager, recently said something like, "Oh, I feel like we're not like super systemized." She's like, "Are you joking me? Like we have tons of systems like in place for stuff, right?"
Yeah.
And I guess I don't feel like I really do that much to even manage them anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like my back and forth with my team now is like I talk to my leadership team. They tell me if they're having an issue with something, you know, so I have 2 or 3 people that I talk to all the time, and everybody else is more just like having jokes at work.
Yeah.
And they just use the system to create that, or if they need to create something different, that they just bring that to me. But it's quite easy. It's just like, here's the system, use this, make sure the girls do it. And if they don't do it, by all means, give them hell.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So the guardrails for launching a new venture without destabilizing your core business, what are some of the guardrails that you put in place?
When starting the new venture, I think for me is just making sure that I'm still around.
Yes.
You know, like I'm in my office all the time, often working on a different business, but I'm still in that business if somebody needs me.
Yeah.
So it's not that I have totally checked out and I've left the premises and I'm not around.
Yeah.
You know, if I did that, I do think that my business would suffer because I am still a big part of that culture. And maybe that will change one day, but that's the way I like it still. Like I want to walk into my business and still like the place because it's a place that I've, you know, nurtured, and it's got the fun in there. And I, you know, like I could just let it do its thing, but I don't really want that. So I think it's just making sure that you're still present, but it's not like you have to be there on the floor, but you're still around if somebody kind of needs you, rather than just being completely gone and nobody's seen you in a month, you know?
So here's something, teaching others. So you've now moved into that mentoring, growing other people's businesses. The framework you use to mentor owners from busy to business. Like, I hate the word busy.
Yeah.
When people tell me, I'm so busy. I went, no, you're not. You're just running around in circles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So most people are that rather than doing business.
Yes.
What's the framework that you have around working with people there?
I guess like when you're taking on a mentorship client, because we were only just starting that this year, but you end up, like when you get to this position, you end up doing it anyways. You find that all of a sudden you've got all these business contacts and they message you and they ask you about, you know, business advice. And that's where you get to the point where you're like, I should probably be doing something like this. Yes. Yeah. I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this for free. But I really enjoy it. But I think it's really teaching people the things that, like we were talking about before, about what's important and what's not. Like, why are you wasting your time on that? And teaching people how to delegate stuff and what they should be doing and working on and what they shouldn't, and giving people that confidence of like, you not doing that role is not going to build your business. And I think sometimes people just need that like support into having another business owner that's done that to help them stop thinking that they are so needed. Like, people think that they, you know, when people that the whole thing that everybody's replaceable, it's like, so am I. Right. So I'm replaceable as well. Somebody could buy my business and run it, but I think just helping owners in selecting like what is important to them and what they want to be doing, because not everybody wants to be doing what I'm doing either. Like, they don't want to be into digital marketing. Maybe they want to start an e-com brand, or maybe they want to be doing more education. And so I think the first thing is just figuring out what people want. And I think that can be really challenging sometimes, because we have a lot of ideas and we don't really know which one we're going to want to stick with. Yeah, I have an idea every minute, and my son has a drawer that he sticks all my ideas in. Oh, yeah.
So designing your life the way you want it, How do you do some of the, like, I'm not a great believer in work-life balance. I think it's a misnomer nonsense. Right? There's life and there's the things that you're doing and when you're doing it. So how do you set up boundaries and family time and saying no?
Right. So I think now with kids that are going into school, it's going to become a little bit easier because I almost have these planned times. Like right now, while we're on school holidays, it's January.
Yeah.
I'm like, the only thing that I'm kind of doing is committing to is doing podcasts. Again, we're going to Rado tomorrow for a couple of days. Like, it's committing myself to like spending time when I can with the kids, and knowing that it's like, it's not work-life balance anymore. It's enjoying, like, when it's like the life bit, it's like I'm working all the time, but making sure that the work that I do, I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
nice.
It becomes like it's okay for me to be working on holiday because I enjoy the work. But I'm also working on holidays because I'm constantly so motivated that I'm just like, I've got all these ideas and I want to do stuff. Not all stuff, but there's emails. Like, if I could get rid of every single email, never have to do an email again. But I don't think that'll happen.
So you talked a bit about values. What are the cultural practices that you keep in play so that the values are there even when you're not present?
What are the cultural practices?
It's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, how do I answer that? I don't really know, to be honest, like how, I think this is why I still like to be in touch with my team and around. Is the only thing that I can think of to do that is to try to lead by example.
Yeah.
And to show people how I would do things. So I still do a bit of hair on the floor on a Saturday, not every Saturday, but to be in touch that way. But yeah, I don't really know the answer to that.
How about you? Have a think. Like,
yes.
It's a good question to ask. Like, what are your cultural norms and values that keep the business going? Because they've got to be there because you're not there all the time.
Yes.
Right? So how does that? So just in closing, Charlie's 7-day system sprint. Yeah? Where would people find you? Where would they find getting in touch with that new part of your business that will support them?
Yeah. So the business is called the Biz Tool Boutique. Yeah. We started that based on the fact that I found that there was a lot of like fluffy coaching and everybody wants to be a business coach. I didn't want to be a business coach or a mentor. Like, I was really dead set against it for a long time. But I wanted to share the tools that I've been able to use and implement into my business, which I found hard to get anybody to help me with. Like, how do I actually create this system? How do I make sure that my pricing is going to be profitable? How do I spot holes in my business? That kind of thing. So on the Biz Tool Boutique, we've got a few different programs. So you can do our pricing program or our profit share program if you want to be able to incentivize your team better in a way that really incentivizes the salon owner as well. There is like we call it Service Like You Mean It, which is like a webinar about how to increase your sales with your team by increasing better service. So very service driven. And now our mentorship program, our front desk template. So we've got a bunch of different tools on there that businesses can either pick what is going to be helpful to their business, because some people might have something already in place. Some people might just need a missing piece to their puzzle, or our mentorship clients get access to all of the programs, and I basically help people walk them through how to implement those that need a little bit more hand-holding or want to really take that business to that next level. We do very short-term mentorship programs, which start at just 4 months. And then we also get people to the point where we help them create like a higher converting website so that they can start running ads if the goal is to increase their clientele and grow their business. So we think that there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle before you can be spending money on ads, because you really want to have a highly converting website. But all the things from pricing to the, like you were asking about the values, like our service, like you mean it, like how we service a client, how we actually, replicate that, and how we teach it to our team so that they understand that we're solving problems for clients and how to get their head around that. So really just creating a solid framework in your business before you go and try to scale it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, it's been really cool talking to you. I've got all these ideas. I'm going, I could tell lots of people about this. So, Charlie Crothers, thank you for being on Slicing Through the Noise. And for those of you listening, please go along and have a look at the Biz Tool Boutique and what Charlie has to offer. For most people that are building small service businesses, I think anyone could use what she's got. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.